Narayanam Samastritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudiraye Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtiki.
So thank you all for coming. Today is Yogini Ekadashi. Ekadashi is the mother of devotion. Very, very, very wonderful day to attempt to make some spiritual advancement. So Srila Prabhupada has given us the formula. Fasting from grains and beans and increased chanting. Srila Prabhupada said at least 25 rounds on every Ekadashi. So, and at one point he said, why just 25? Why not 25,000? Of course, for us mere mortals in this Kali Yuga, that in this limited material body, it's hard for us to do anything spiritual. Very, very challenging. So, we can at least try. Maybe if we are chanting 16, then we can say, okay Krishna, one more round. Just one more round. 17 rounds. Or 18, or whatever it is. But let's make an attempt to do just a little bit more. Srila Prabhupada said real chanting begins with the 17th round. That means when you say, okay, I think I need to do more of this. So, that's just to remind us about the importance of Ekadashi, trying at least in a small, humble way to do a little something extra to please the Lord. Right? Just like in a firm, supposing you were working, okay? Supposing you did just enough to squeak past, would you get a promotion? What will your supervisor say to the boss? Say, yeah, he comes every day, he does his job, he goes home. He comes every day, he does his job, he goes home. He doesn't show any initiative, he doesn't show any enthusiasm. He just does everything, whatever I tell him to do, he'll do it. But there's no, desire or, any initiative or anything to take up some responsibility or to do something extra. Okay, no promotion this year. Let's wait till next year. Let's see if he does better. You see? So, if we do something to convince the Lord, I'm serious. I want to come back to you. Krishna will do many, many more things to help us come back to him. But if we are just doing enough to squeak past, okay, I'm doing my stuff for the day, Krishna. Be grateful, I'm doing at least this much. Like we're doing a favor to him. Then Krishna says, alright, okay, maybe we'll see for a little while more. So it all depends on the sense of urgency we feel. It all depends on how badly we want to go back to Krishna. And we want that. Like our Gaurakarna Prabhu, I'm in this material body, what to do? But this is a prison house. You're in prison. Who wants to be in prison for a long time? Raise your hands. You're joking. We want to get out. We want to go back to Krishna, the source of wonderful spiritual pastimes, happiness, love, bliss, joy, playfulness, delight, humor, fun. Everything that we possibly want is there in Krishna. And that's where we want to be, with Krishna. So just a thought for the day, for you to remember to do something little extra in your day, just to give you a little insight. Is that okay? Okay. Alright, so let's get on to the verse. Text number 31, Canto 1, Chapter 15, and it goes like this. Vishoko Brahma Sampatya Sanchinna Dvaita Samshayaha Lina Prakriti Nairgunyat Alingatvad Asambhavaha Vishoko Brahma Sampatya Lina Prakriti Nairgunyat Alingatvad Asambhavaha. Vaishnavas, gentlemen,
Vishoka Brahma Sampatya Sanchina Daita Samsaya Lina Prakriti Naigunya Alingatvad Asambhava.
Vishoka Brahma Sampatya Sanchina Daita Samsayaha Lina Prakriti Naigunya Alingatvat Asambhavaha.
Vishoka Brahma Sampatya Sanchina Dvaita Samsayaha Lina Prakriti Naigunyat Alingatvad Asambhavaha.
Vaishnavis, ladies,
Vishoka Brahma Sampatya
Sanchina Dvaita Samsayaha Lina Prakriti Naigunyat Alingatvad Asambhavaha. Vishoka Brahma Sampatya Sanchina Dvaita Samsaya Lina Prakriti Naigunyat Alingatvad Asambhavaha.
Vishoka Brahma Sampatya Sanchina Dvaita Samsaya
Lina Prakriti Naigunyat Alingatvad Asambhavaha.
word for word, Vishokaha, freed from bereavement. Brahma Sampatya, by possession of spiritual assets. Sanchina, being completely cut off. Dvaita Samshayaha, from the doubts of relativity. Lina, merged in. Prakriti, material nature. Naigunyat, due to being in transcendence. Alingatvat, because of being devoid of a material body. Asambhavaha, free from birth and death. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Because of his possessing spiritual assets, the doubts of duality were completely cut off. Thus, he was freed from the three modes of material nature and placed in transcendence. There was no longer any chance of his becoming entangled in birth and death, for he was freed from material form. Please repeat. Because of his possessing spiritual assets, the doubts of duality were completely cut off. Thus he was freed from the three modes of material nature and placed in transcendence. There was no longer any chance of his becoming entangled in birth and death. For he was freed from material form. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Doubts of duality begin from the misconception of the material body, which is accepted as the self by less intelligent persons. The most foolish part of our ignorance is our identifying this material body with the self. Everything in relation with the body is ignorantly accepted as our own. Doubts due to misconceptions of myself, mine, in other words, my body, my relatives, my property, my wife, my children, my wealth, my country, my community, and hundreds and thousands of similar illusory contemplations cause bewilderment for this conditioned soul. By assimilating the instructions of the Bhagavad Gita, one is sure to be relieved from such bewilderment, because real knowledge is knowledge that the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vasudeva, Lord Krishna, is everything, including one's self. Everything is a manifestation of His potency as part and parcel. The potency and the potent are non-different. So the conception of duality is at once mitigated by the attainment of perfect knowledge. As soon as Arjuna took up the instruction of the Bhagavad Gita, expert as he was, he could at once eradicate the material conception of Lord Krishna, his eternal friend. He could realize that the Lord was still present before him by His instruction, by His form, by His pastimes, by His qualities, and everything else related to Him. He could realize that Lord Krishna, his friend, was still present before him by His transcendental presence in different non-dual energies, and there was no question of attainment of the association of the Lord by another change of body under the influence of time and space. By attainment of absolute knowledge, one can be in association with the Lord constantly, even in this present life, simply by hearing, chanting, thinking of, and worshipping the Supreme Lord. One can see Him, one can feel His presence even in this present life, simply by understanding the Advaya Jnana Lord, or the Absolute Lord, through the process of devotional service, which begins with hearing about Him. Lord Chaitanya says that simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one can at once wash off the dust on the mirror of pure consciousness. And as soon as the dust is removed, one is at once freed from all material conditions. To become free from material conditions means to liberate the soul. As soon as one is, therefore, situated in absolute knowledge, his material conception of life is removed, or he emerges from a false conception of life. Thus, the function of the pure soul is revived in spiritual realization. This practical realization of the living being is made possible due to his becoming free from the reaction of the three modes of material nature, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance. By the grace of the Lord, a pure devotee is at once raised to the place of the Absolute, and there is no chance of the devotees becoming materially entangled again in conditioned life. One is not able to feel the presence of the Lord in all circumstances until one is endowed with the required transcendental vision made possible by devotional service prescribed in the revealed scriptures. Arjuna had attained this stage long before on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and when he apparently felt the absence of the Lord, he at once took shelter of the instructions of the Bhagavad Gita, and thus again he was placed in his original position. This is the position of Vishok, or the stage of being freed from all grief and anxieties. Om Ajnanati Mirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So, in this wonderful book, in the science of self-realization, Srila Prabhupada answers so many different questions and he explains clearly to us what is the self. The self is not this body. And this process of Krishna consciousness means coming to self-realization, which means realization of the self. And what is the self? Pure spirit soul. And what is the spirit soul? Sat, Chit, Ananda. Eternal, full of knowledge and full of bliss. That's who we really are. But right now we are not there. We are covered by this material body. But this verse is very instructive. Even while in this material body, we can attain pure spiritual consciousness. How? By the process of devotional service. Hearing, chanting, serving the Lord. We have talked very often of the 9 processes of devotional service. And here, Arjuna, even though he was actually a pure soul, is purposefully placed by the Lord as though he is in ignorance, just so the Lord can speak the instructions of the Bhagavad Gita. What does Arjuna say? I am completely bewildered, my Lord. I am completely covered. I am shaking. The bow Gandiva is slipping. My mouth is dry. My hair is all, my body is burning. He's having an acute anxiety attack. Right? Panic attack, as we would say. And then Krishna explains the whole Bhagavad Gita. You're lamenting for that which is not worthy of being lamented over. Like Guru Maharaj said, if we lose some wealth, we lose nothing. If we lose health, we lose something. But if we lose our realization, our conception of God, our Krishna consciousness, we lose everything. So this is such a wonderful gift that we have been given by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. We have been given this opportunity to engage in the process of devotional service and go back home to Krishna. That is our home. Not this temporary material world where we are constantly being tossed by the ocean waves of material suffering, sometimes distress, sometimes suffering, sometimes happiness, sometimes distress, on and on and on. Matra spashas tukamteya, sitoshna sukha dukkada, agama payano nitya stantiksha svabharata. What is Krishna explaining over there? Says the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress is like the coming and the going of the summer and the winter seasons. They arise from sense perception or sign of Bharat, and one should learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. So this process of Krishna consciousness helps us to remain tolerant even in the face of difficulties, because we realize this is all temporary and this is all because of my own mind and senses interacting with the objects of the senses and giving rise to sometimes happiness, sometimes distress, sometimes happiness, sometimes, and so on. And we have been tossing like this for millions of lifetimes. Sometimes a Brahma, sometimes an ant, and who knows what else in between. Isn't it?
I thought you said drama. Oh yeah.
Drama too. Lots of drama.
Yeah,
Right. Who doesn't have drama? We all have drama. Right? So our position in this material world is very precarious. Like a lotus, like a drop of water on a lotus leaf. Any moment, we're thinking, my property, my land, my house, my wife, my husband, my community, my nation, so many minds we have. But in a moment's time, everything can be finished. Any moment, all these things can be finished. Because just play on material nature. Hurricane Katrina. Who was here during Hurricane Katrina? Okay, so we know, right? Within 24 hours, and even 10, 15 years later, we are still suffering the effects of that 24-hour play of Mother Nature. It's child's play for her. Just send a few waves over here, Just send a tsunami over there. Just send a forest fire over there. Right? Plague, pestilence, forest fires, tsunamis, hurricanes, tornadoes, floods. What else? Droughts. Famine. Earthquakes. War. Pestilence. Terrorism. What have you? So is there any point in wasting time here? Tell me. Is there any point in allowing that crocodile which has caught us like this, holding us tightly in his jaws? Is there any point sticking around and saying, I think I'm going to enjoy the scenery for a little while more. Let the crocodile keep biting my leg. No! There's no point wasting time here. Let's make a very sincere effort to convince Krishna, please take me back. Please take me back. Please help me to come back to you. I know I'm not qualified. I know I'm nowhere near being allowed to come back. But consider me a mercy case. At least that's my prayer. I have made up my mind. In this lifetime, I don't want to do anything that will take me away from Krishna. And I want to do everything that will take me towards Krishna. Srila Bhakti Gita Maharaj said, he used to make this prayer. My dear Lord, anything that comes in the way of my surrendering fully to you, please take it away. And anything that enhances full surrender unto you, bring it on. So this is my prayer. My dear Lord, please help me to come back to my original constitutional position. Now this is very laughable given where I am, obviously. There's no question. It's like an ant looking at the top of Mount Everest and saying, I'm going to reach there someday. So this is how laughable my plan is. But I'm simply praying for the mercy of the Lord, the mercy of the Vaishnava, that somehow I become a mercy case. You know what's a mercy case? When you're in school, sometimes if you failed, let's say you failed at math, or you failed at English, or you failed at something, but you really tried hard. The teacher saw you were struggling, and you were trying, you were staying after school saying, please give me extra help, so on, but you still didn't make it. Few marks, just few marks, like you were supposed to get, say, 35 out of 50, and you got 33 or 32. What did the teacher say? Okay, this child really worked hard. I'm giving her grace marks. Right? And you get pushed through. So this is what I'm hoping for. The failing grade is sure. But somehow, let me get some grace marks, my dear Lord, and help me to cross that finishing line and come back. Because there is no point struggling and wasting time over here. Nothing can give us happiness in this material world. It's just an illusion of happiness. It's just a bewilderment of our senses and mind that makes us think there's something here. There's nothing here. It's a mirage. It's like, in the desert you go and you see, you feel as though there is water, and you run in that hot burning sand towards the water thinking, I'm going to get something cool and nice to slake my thirst. And you reach over there and there's only more hot burning sand. So Arjuna, even though he was a pure devotee, was put into this situation just for Krishna to speak the Bhagavad Gita and give us these instructions that even while in this material body, we can attain that stage of transcendence by following very sincerely the process of devotional service. I was just, some few weeks ago, I was sharing with my husband via text that I want to reach Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na Shochati na Kanchati Sama Sarveshu Bhuteshu Madbhaktin Labate Para. No more hankering, no more lamentation, viewing all living entities with equal vision. In such a state, one can attain pure devotional service unto me. And one becomes fully joyful because one is lifted out of this material tabernacle, one is free of these material modes which are constantly causing us so much distress. That is Durga Devi's trident, right? Pushing. Move, living entity, move towards Krishna. Those are the pushes, the prods that we get. Because really, our constitutional position is pure servitorship to Krishna. Over here, how beautifully it is explained, everything belongs to Krishna, rests in Krishna, is Krishna, because Krishna says, money, which is that verse? 7:7 from Bhagavad Gita. The one, everything rests, O conqueror of wealth, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls strung on a thread. So everything is resting in Krishna. We also are resting in Krishna. We are struggling, thinking independent of Krishna, I can do something. I can try and enjoy my mind and senses. I can make it. I can do it. But really, we are so tiny. What we can do are little, it's like the fly, fluttering for a little bit before rushing towards the flames and annihilation. That's all there is over here. So how many times we want to do this? How many times? Have we tried it a few trillion times already? Right? Right? Again and again, same thing. Chewing the chew, as Prahlad Maharaj says, trying to squeeze some juice out of chewing the chew. Have you ever tried to, have you had that experience? Something tastes very good and you chew it thinking, I'll get some more juice, I'll get some more juice. And after some time there's nothing, you're just chewing and chewing, but there's nothing coming out of it. So these are our attempts to enjoy this material world. Futile. So our endeavor must be very intelligent endeavor. How can I come back to the position where I'm eternally happy, where I'm eternally blissful, where I'm eternally joyful, where I'm totally at peace, where I'm totally in love with Krishna, and the happiness is ever increasing. I don't have to take birth and go through this Janma Mrityu Jara. This is our position really. We have fallen away and come over here. We were there. We were in the spiritual world with Krishna. And our desires brought us over here. So there's a way out. And that process is the process of devotional service. And we want to go back to Krishna. That is our endeavor. So by engaging very nicely in this process of devotional service, we can go home. That is our home. We are like fish out of water here. Struggling. So our endeavor has to be very precise, very focused, very determined, keeping the target in mind all the time. Just like Arjuna was asked to shoot the arrow, he was completely focused on the eye of the fish. And how was that fish? It was not a stationary fish. It was on a wheel which was rotating at high speed, right? And he couldn't look at it directly. He had to look in the reflection and shoot upwards. What a feat.
And shoot through a little hole.
Huh?
And shoot through a little hole to hit the target.
Was it that way? Oh, I didn't know that. I hadn't heard that. I see.
What did he say?
Through a little hole.
I thought there was a wheel involved in the
Yeah. Even then I heard about the wheel.
So through the spokes of the wheel,
Right.
as it's turning.
Through
It's spinning, but there's
Yeah.
a hole. When it goes through, you can see it, and then you have to shoot through the hole and hit the target at the time.
I see.
That's how I read it.
Okay. I heard that he had to look down into the reflection.
No, you still have to do that.
You still have to look down.
Okay. So just imagine, for that small thing, how much focus Arjuna had to display. What to speak of our going back home, back to Godhead, how focused we must be. So let us endeavor today, being Yogini Ekadashi, to make a very special effort to see where we are, where we want to go, how do we want to do it, what needs to be pruned, what needs to be weeded out, what needs to be taken away. So my Bhakti Lata beach grows very, very nicely back to the lotus feet of Krishna and takes complete shelter at those soft, divine lotus feet. So thank you very much for listening patiently. I hope my small endeavor to please you has been somewhat successful. Please feel free to correct me or to point out some things that I have missed or any corrections, and we can open up for some nice discussion. Yes, Langa Ganesh Prabhu.
You mentioned at the beginning that we were Satchidananda Vigraha, you missed. We have form.
Yes, I did mention that.
You didn't mention Vigraha.
Oh, I see. I didn't say Vigraha. Okay.
So I just wanted to point that out that we're Satchidananda with form, Vigraha.
Vigraha. Okay. Thank you.
Eternal blissful knowledge with a form.
Yes, we are eternally blissful and we have a spiritual form. Thank you for pointing that out. Anyone else? No? No comments, no questions? Oh, yes, okay.
No, I was asking her.
Huh?
I was asking her.
I can see Mother Prishni because there's a pole in between. Yes.
And you write things down, I think of something very in the process that it will
Okay. All right.
Someone did just send something to me that my Guru Maharaj goes, is it okay with everybody if I say my Guru Maharaj?
Yes, of course.
And I say something?
Yes, yes.
Okay. That he was talking about how important it is to improve our service. He was saying that, we may be following the principles and the tenets of devotional service carefully for years and years and years, but we get kind of in a rut, and like you were saying, we should examine ourselves and where we are, how important it is to improve our devotional service and advance to the stage of Bhagavad Bhakti, which is actually just the stage of Sadhana Bhakti. Sometimes I didn't have such a clear understanding of that until I listened to some Bhakti Shastri lectures. And Bhagavad Bhakti is actually just the advanced stage of Sadhana Bhakti. So he was really emphasizing. So then you have to consider, well, what is my service? He was saying, people have so many services, taking care of their family, worshiping the deity, teaching with Bhakti Vriksha, whatever it is, chanting is the number one service, and to focus on really trying to hone that and improve it, and in that way we can advance to that higher stage of
Very good point. Very, very good point. You have raised a very good point when you said that all aspects of our life must be examined. It's not just what I do in the temple room, it's what I do outside too. How am I relating with my colleagues? How am I relating with my family members? Have I given up my bad habits? Am I more respectful? Am I kind? Am I considerate? Am I remembering that I'm a servant in all situations? That means I'm a servant at home, I'm a servant at the office, I'm a servant whether I'm in the mall, whether on the subway, whether in the temple, at all moments, at all times, I'm simply a servant. And how am I doing my service? Very good point. Sometimes this feeling is there that devotional service means everything that I do in the temple. No. Devotional service begins at home. How we treat our family members. Krishna is watching to see that too. Krishna is seeing, are you being a better devotee than you were last year? Are you being a better servant than you were 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 2 months ago? So endeavor must be constant, unceasing, and very focused. As you rightly said, in all situations we have to examine ourselves and see, how am I doing? Am I being more servant-like or not? And if I'm not, what is blocking me? How can I improve in this area? Very good point. Ultimately, we have to move towards unconditional love for everyone, starting with our family members, but everyone. We can never have peace if we are trying to push our agenda, control someone, get something, expectations. These are the cause of most problems. But as we let go of all these things one by one and surrender, Krishna gives us the serenity to accept the situation in such a way that we can make advancement. But for that, one must be constantly endeavoring. Good point, Mataji. Thank you for bringing that out. Good point. Anything else? Okay, everybody wants to chant more on Ekadashi. We'll let you go. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.